you for the opportunity. My name is Fransiska Melly S, last name 240. I will explain about overview of goals and plans. A goal is a desired future state that the organization attempt to realize. Goals are important because organization exists for a purpose, and goals define and state the purpose. A plan is a blueprint for a goals achievement and specifies the rationalities, ratios, attention, schedule, text, and other action. Goal specific future and plan specific for me. 2. Level of goals and plans. The planning process starts with a formal mission that defines the basic purpose of the organization, especially for external audience. The mission is the basic for strategic company level of goals and plans, which in turn set the tactical, divisional level and the operational department. Tactical goals and plans are the responsibility of middle manager, such as the head of major divisions or faction units. And then, purpose of goals and plans. 1. Regimentation. Regimentation and organization mission describe what the organization stands for and its reason for existence. 2. Source of motivation and commitment. Goals and plans action approach motivation and commitment by reducing uncertainty and clarifying what the sought accomplish. And then resource allocation. Goals help manager decide where they need to allocate resources such as employees' money and equipment. And then goes to action. Goals and plans provide us scenarios of direction. And then rationale for decision. Through goal setting and planning, manager clarify what the organization is trying to accomplish. And then standard of performance, because goals define desired outcome for the organization. They also serve as performance criteria. Thank you.
My name is Chintya Anggun F, my last name 240. I will explain to the operational planning process. The operational planning process, the process between when manager develop the overall plan for the organization by clearly defining mission and strategy. Next, organizational mission. The mission describes the organization, values, organization, and mission fulfillment. Our definite mission is the basis for development of our success, goals, and plans. Next, mission statement. Upon the stated character definition of the organization, basic business, scope, and operation that describe it from similar types of organization. Next, goals and plans, divided into 5 strategies. First, strategic goals. Second, strategic plans. Third, tactical goals. Fourth, tactical plans. First, operational goals.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Oktavianda Putri and my name 244. I will explain about aligning goals with strategy map. Effectively designed organizational goals are aligned, that is, they are consistent and mutually supportive, so that the achievement of goals at low levels permit the attachment of high-level goals. An increasingly popular technique for achieving goals alignment is the strategy map. Next, about operational planning. Managers use operational goals to direct employees and resources toward achieving specific customer that enable the organization to perform efficiently and efficiently. Next, about criteria for effective goals. Research has identified certain factors that characterize effective goals. First and foremost, goals need to be specific and measurable. Effective goals also have a definite time period that specifies the date on which goal attainment will be measured. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Dian Salsabillah, Melly S name 254. I want to explain to management by objective. Management by objective or MBO is a system whereby managers and employers define goals for every department, project, and person and use them to monitor subsequent performance. Of the essential step of the MBO system is 1. Set goal, 2. Develop action, 3. Review projects, and 4. Appraise overall performance. MBO benefit and problems. Benefit of MBO. 1. Manager-employee effort are focused on activities that will lead to goal attainment. 2. Performance can be improved at all company levels. 3. Employees are motivated. 4. Departmental and individual goals are aligned with company goals. Problems with MBO. 1. Contact change prevents MBO from taking hold. 2. An environment of poor employee relation reduce MBO efficiency. 3. Strategic goals might be displaced by operational goals.
For the opportunity, my name is Nadia Hasani, my last name 260. I want to explain to single-use and standing plans. Single-use plans that are developed to achieve a set of goals that are uniquely to be reported in the future. Standing plans, going plans that are used to prioritize for task performance repeatedly within the organization. The primary standing plans are organization, policy, ruler, and procedure. And the next, contingency planning. Contingency plans that define company response to specific situations, such as emergency, setback, or unexpected condition. Building scenario. Scenario building involves looking at the current trends and discriminating and visualizing future possibilities.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Atalla Dinda. My last name is 269. So here I will explain about crisis planning. So every organization must have a crisis management plan or CMP. CMP is a document that outlines the processes an organization will use to respond to a critical situation that would negatively affect its profitability, reputation, or ability to operate. An organization may choose to enlist outside public relations help to handle communication aspects such as dealing with the media. With a public crisis response, an organization can counter any misleading and false information and seek to ease concerns. Even organizations resolve a crisis situation quickly enough, bringing the event to the attention of the public may not be necessary and could even bring unwanted attention. So there are two essential stages of crisis planning. The first one is crisis prevention. The crisis prevention stage involves activities managers undertake to try to prevent crises from occurring and to detect warning signs of potential crisis. A critical part of the prevention stage is building open, trusting relationships with key stakeholders such as employees, customers, suppliers, governments, unions, and the community. The importance of a crisis communication strategy. Communication is key to getting through a crisis because it keeps all the necessary players, ranging from a single office to a global reply, informed. Lack of communication could also cause a safety issue. An organization should designate a crisis communications team. All communication should be clear, concise, and truthful. For the sake of speed, an organization could proactively draw up a template with potential scenarios, designate the appropriate channels for communication, and then plug in the necessary information if the actual incident occurs. And the second is crisis preparation. 3 steps in the preparation stage are: the first one is designating a crisis management team and spokesperson. 2. Creating the detailed crisis management plan. And 3. Setting up an effective communication system. There are so many types of potential crises. Potential crises, according to the ready.gov, an official website of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, it includes: the first one is natural disasters, such as hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes. 2. Other severe weather events such as flooding, blizzards, and droughts. 3. Biological hazards, such as foodborne illnesses and pandemics. 4. Accidental human-caused events such as fires, explosions, building or structure collapses, and hazardous material spills. 5. Intentional human-caused events such as robberies, violence, and fires. And the last is technology issues such as outages and cyber attacks. What you need to include in your crisis management plan. A typical crisis management plan has several sections. According to business continuity and disaster recovery expert Paul Kerfan, a CMP should include: first, an outline of the purpose, scope, and goals of the plan. Next, an evacuation plan, a crisis response strategy that develops a framework to manage the crisis. Contact list, including staff, vendors, and law enforcement. Media management, crisis procedures that define specific responses to a variety of incidents, and integration with other emergency plan. So now I will explain about planning for high performance. The purpose of planning and goal setting is to help the organization achieve high performance. The process of planning is changing to be more in tune with today's environment and the shifting attitudes of employees. So the first one is traditional strategic planning model. So what is wrong with the traditional strategic planning model? First, more often than not, the focus is on the strategic plan. Fundamentally, strategy is not about the plan, but rather it's about the planning process. So the next is, it's linear. The world is messy. Markets are messy. Business is messy. None of this lends itself to a linear approach. So the third one is, it's often complex, laborious, and time-consuming. What is needed is a straightforward, non-complex approach. Next, it's static and lack agility. Things change rapidly, and business leaders need the ability to respond in kind. What needed is a process that is agile enough to respond rapidly to unforeseen turns of events. And next, it's too assumptive and too far removed from the buying customers. All the strategic planning models in the world is for now if the dog won't eat the dog food. The most effective approaches to strategy get the product or service in front of prospective buyers as early in the process as possible, or sometimes through prototype, pilot, or trial programs. Learn from the experience and modify the offering or selling approach accordingly. Next, it doesn't leverage failure. We should learn to leverage our failures in real time rather than view them as shortcomings. What's needed is a process of experimentation, failure, learning, and agility. And the last is it's more often than not implemented top-down. While it is critical that the leaders of an organization drive the strategy initiative by clearly articulating its values, visions, and missions, successful strategies are not implemented from the top down. And the last is it's more often than not implemented top down. Well, it's critical that the leaders of an organization drive the strategy initiative by clearly articulating its values, visions, and missions. Successful strategies are not implemented from the top down. Great ideas is in an organization come from the bottom up from its rank and file members.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Veranita Saputri. My last three name 271. I will explain to high performance approach to planning. A fresh approach to planning is to involve everyone in the organization and sometimes outside stakeholders as well. In the planning process, the evaluation to a new approach began with a shift to decentralized planning, which means that planning experts work with managers in major divisions of department to develop their own goals and plans. Planning comes alive when employees are involved in setting goals and determining the means to reach them. The second, set strict goals for excellence. Strict goals are reasonable yet highly ambitious goals that are so clear, compelling, and imaginative that they fire up employees and engender excellence. 3. Use performance dashboard. Companies began using business performance dashboard as a way for executives to keep track of key performance metrics such as sales in relation to targets, number of products on back order, or percentage of customer service calls resolved within specific time periods. Some dashboard systems also incorporate software that tells user perform what if scenarios to evaluate the impact of various alternatives for meeting goals, or deploy intelligence teams. Anticipating and managing uncertainty and turbulence in the environment is a crucial part of planning, which means managers need good intelligence to make informed